Hmm. Okay, so, I just finished a morning routine and heritage sheets. Another thing that I'm working on how um, I have a 99.99999% chance of failure and a 0.000000001 point chance of success. Um, I don't know if I said that correctly, but 0.0000001% of success. And I'm almost done with that, and that's taken me a really long time to do. Um, and then I read my Bible, which I'm seeing how much of a patriarchal bent this has, and how I kind of have to edit it in order to, you know, worship a God that celebrates the feminine, worship a God that could be a girl just as much as a boy. Um, yeah, and I'm on Exodus, and it's very enjoyable to read about the different plagues and you know it's a pretty interesting story, and I always liked The Prince of Egypt, that movie, you know. Um, so yeah, it's very nice to kind of feel grounded this morning. And then other things. There's just several things in this morning routine to recenter, God willing, rebirth, have right connections from a more healed place, recognize the function of being a generational scapegoat, my immediate family line for the different generations that we belong to, and kind of having an awareness and, the frustration of seeing people who are 15 years younger and being in positions and roles that I could never, only beginning to fathom as possibly possible. Looking at girls or slash young women in Cameroon and Nigeria and the United States. This is kind of all part of my morning routine. It's kind of giving Pangea what my figuring all of these things out. Um, but actually, what I wanted to do today is read an article that seems to be like, I only have 143 claps on it. And honestly, I pray that it's not two-faced to read it when I just kind of talk about different experiences, and hopefully it can be something that can progress connections, because look, nobody's reading, nobody's watching, nobody's on this page, and I guess that's probably a gift in itself, so that it's just helping me to be able to work through things. So that's all that I want to do for this. And then go and get something to eat, even though I need to like improve my food for anti-cancer and healing purposes. And I would go into more, but to share certain things on a platform where there's so many different energies that can come from to you, I think you have to be very careful sometimes, knowing that being fragile, being made of stardust and matter and all of these things, I'm very vulnerable. People are very vulnerable to the forces outside of us at play. And so I have to protect myself also on a platform such as this, and having the courage to be able to say as much as already that I'm not even expecting that I would have the courage to say. So let me go ahead and start reading, and hopefully it will be quick. Okay, so I am a girl, Noa Agbọghọ, and I am a woman. So I actually started learning Igbo, and French is what I studied in college, and it actually has nothing to do with my potential. I had to put together the pieces of like coming to college with 18 credits already through AP classes, of getting like, I think you have to get a 5 to get credit, maybe a 4, I don't remember, but basically different things I see now, and not having encouragement and making mistakes, personal mistakes, a lot of things that I now see contributed, um, and my gendered experience contributed to me actually not pursuing a path now at 39 that actually isn't actually consistent with what my potential was when I was 17. So that's why it's frustrating too, seeing that kind of, in addition to mistakes I've made, I do see that there have been generational spells at play that I think wanted me to kind of maintain and not succeed in my life, which is why my mom passed of such like a random illness that I'm still working through. Hence videos such as this. So let's start. I am a girl, noir agbọghọ, and I am a woman. A girl/woman, or a girl. I am older, I have to kind of face this and even how it impacts my ability to connect with people in my dance company and stuff. Race, intersection, culture, all these crazy things. But what I will say is that I am also a fairy, I feel, type of thing. So I do have the girl/woman energy. I will call myself a girl, 39-year-old girl, and I know I'm a 39-year-old woman. So the best I can do most of the time is say girl/woman. So, if that offends you, I feel like sometimes I can offend people when you're just like, guy, I'm a woman. I'm not really good with that, okay? I still have my 10-year-old self with me all the time. She literally, I want to not let her down, And so let's get started. So I actually thought I could finish everything but topics that seem like a few sentences. I realized I have a lot to say about them. So actually, I'm not going to get to everything today on my age 8 list. I have too much to blog about, honestly. So let me start with girlness. Girl is noir agbọghọ. Girl in Igbo is noir agbọghọ. Mom, I wish maybe you would have said this, let me know. Maybe you didn't know yourself via colonization or didn't want to. I don't know. A good amount of my oppression is that my main girl identity comes from being raised by an African girl/woman, specifically Igbo. Nigeria isn't an actual country, but a creation, so I'll stick to the tribe name when I can. So this is the language of my period, the language of my anatomy, the language of my budding breasts and puberty, of my vagina, of my second-class citizenship, of menopause when I begin it sooner now than before, of girl/woman illness and disease possibilities. Actually, I need the African-American puzzle piece too. I'm a Nigerian now, though. Also, it was against the backdrop of the English language where I experienced harm from my father from other men, and against the backdrop of a black culture where most girls from the culture in the U.S. did not have my mother-daughter experience. It was also against a Nigerian backdrop where my mother experienced the harm, girl-specific and otherwise, that was transferred to me, coded, even though I haven't gone to Nigeria just yet and will, God willing. Even though Nigeria is going through some crazy things. So, I have to, okay. So I can speak this language no matter what. It is in my blood. I'd like to know my language first, though. I'm not African American, quote unquote, like that. I really am erased when people group me in without acknowledging the nuance of my experience. That is age 29, 30, 31. Not there yet. Examples of my oppression among other black girls and women in the United States. Also, let me say first that I know that I am Nigerian and that West Africa profited from selling people to the already inhabited world. I am not there yet. I promise that I will address being a black colonizer. Wow. Or terms like Akata. The hard K and subtle alliteration bites. I wonder why. Actually, I know why, but okay, I can't say everything here yet. Also, these are experiences that I've had individually. I'm just giving specific examples. Okay, let us go. These are some of the things I experienced as a minority within a minority with some black women in the United States. One example from Nigeria, too, I just remembered, which suggests, what have I done to others? So, I have to face this too. Okay, still, let's go. The treatment of me as a ninja girl, a nigger girl still. Can I be honest about the word and emotional response that goes with it? When I wonder if an American black girl woman would give empathy to a white girl versus me. In one example, if they had said the same pain, so an invalidation of pain from someone who wanted to mentor me, but couldn't see me first, but I can't help but wonder if I looked a different way, what the response would have been, since they'd mentioned they volunteered as a grief counselor, but I think with people who didn't look like me or her. Or it could have been just what happened.